We're making a Chewbacca cake. My name is Lori and you're watching The Icing Artist. To make Chewy, we start off with a 9x13 chocolate cake that we're going to be decorating with chocolate buttercream. But first, I'm going to carve it. I carved the bottom into like a V shape and carved the top of it to be more of an oval shape that I tapered right down into the V. Now that I'm happy with the shape, I'm going to round over all of those edges except the bottom one. We're just going to taper the cake kind of down into that V. And because Chewbacca has brown fur, we can get away with icing him with chocolate buttercream. So good. So just use my chocolate buttercream to crumb coat my cake. And to make chocolate buttercream, you just start with a regular batch of vanilla buttercream and you can add some cocoa powder and even some melted chocolate and whip that up and you've got a chocolatey buttercream. Now before we add the fur on, I thought it would be a really good idea to use a toothpick to just mark out where his face was going to go so I could figure out what direction the fur was going to need to go. Because Chewie's fur is kind of going around his face in different directions. Except I ended up with a terrifying looking image on the top of my cake. Thank goodness we're going to be covering that up with more buttercream. Now Chewbacca has two tones of fur going on him. So for the dark one, we're just going to cover the whole cake with fur. Now I'm going to start off where his nose is going to be and pipe out straight from there, kind of going down and around in the different directions, looking at a picture of Chewbacca to make sure that I have the directions going with his fur. This is one of the more important details with this cake. If it is all going straight down, he's going to look like Cousin It. Not what we're looking for. And of course, I'm going to extend all of those fur lines going straight down the sides of the cake as well, kind of right into the cake board. Now, while we finish icing that, I will let you guys know that YouTube is throwing us a party for hitting 1 million subscribers. Thank you, YouTube. And you guys are all invited. It's at the YouTube Space in Toronto on December 15th. So if you guys want to come, I will leave a link down below in the description box. You have to register if you guys want to attend. I will also leave like all the details down there. We're going to be hanging out, decorating cupcakes. There's going to be a really fun photo booth, and I can't wait to meet you guys. Now before we add the next layer of fur on, we need to make Chewie's belt. So I rolled out some brown fondant and just cut out a long strip and laid that right over top of the fur. Now for those silver blocks of something that are on top of the belt, I wrote some thick gray fondant and just cut it into almost like little bricks and dusted those silver. Now I have no idea what those silver bricks are. I don't know if you guys know, but apparently you can find all facts about Chewbacca on WOOKIEEpedia. That's a terrible joke. If you guys know any better Star Wars jokes, leave those in the comment section. Anyways, I stuck those right on his belt using a little bit of water. And then I just cut out another strip of brown fondant and laid that right on top. I used my veining tool to kind of really press into each of the grooves. Chewbacca has a very strange mouth, so I cut out a very strange shape out of black fondant and just added his kind of teeth and fangs on top of that, and then just wrapped a strip of brown fondant and added a bit more texture to it, and I'm just going to set that aside for now. For Chewbacca's light fur, I just made a light chocolate buttercream. I didn't add as much cocoa powder into it, and I added a little golden yellow food coloring to give it that really nice color. Same thing with the dark one. I just went in lots of different directions, just starting at his nose and mouth, looking at the picture of Chewbacca and kind of trying to replicate the direction of the fur. Once I had the bottom half of the cake done, I placed the mouth on before my icing crusted so much so I could really push it in. And then just continue blending more of that light fur into the dark fur, kind of feathering it out. For his nose, I just took a little ball of black fondant and kind of pinched the one end, used my veining tool to make like 2 little nostrils and place that right on the cake. If you guys know me, I hate saying the word nostrils, but apparently nose holes is not acceptable. I would also like to know, I'm gonna get you guys to comment this as well. What is that one word for you guys that is just like, nope, don't like it at all, not saying it? Now Chewie has some really, really dark eyes, so I want to use my airbrush machine to just kind of mist some black around where his eyes are gonna go. If you guys don't have an airbrush machine, you can always use black fondant or black buttercream, different things you can do, but the airbrush works good. And for his actual eyes, I just layered up some white, blue, and black fondant, added 2 little specks of white, and then dusted around the outside so it's black, just so his eyes aren't like really white next to his dark fur, because that would look ridiculous. Dun 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 dun! That's how you guys make a Chewbacca cake. I hope you really enjoyed it. Not only does this cake look awesome and will please any Star Wars fan, it's also going to be delicious with all that chocolate. Don't forget to come back here again next week so we can make something else into cake. Bye guys!